Hello, welcome to Ah Muse. My name is Susan Rushton and this is my other TV show. This is the show on which I'm thrilled to, I'm privileged to, I'm tickled to talk to people who have been pushed, pulled, startled, amazed by the muse. Whatever muse we're talking about, that's the muse we're talking about. Today, I have three women, and you can only see two at the moment because we are a modest operation here. We'll get three after a while. Three women who are deeply involved with singing to people who are dying. Yes. And part of it is through hospice, perhaps, and some of the other isn't. Mm-hmm. Okay. My guests at the moment are Janine Dexter, who works at Faith Lutheran in Meadow Vista. Yes. Thank you, Janine, for joining us. And you're the director of the music there.
Yes.
And you're the director of the music
for the Threshold Choir.
Threshold Choir.
Different hat.
Yes. And these are three members from the Threshold Choir, thresholdchoir.org, and the Threshold Choir International. That's
yes.
what you do. And that's what Threshold Choir does, is sing to people who are dying.
On the threshold of
death.
Of their life.
Of their life.
Going
okay.
to the...
From here to there.
To the next, wherever it is.
Okay. And Leah Cole, thank you, Leah, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. It's a pleasure to have the two of you here. Now, what is Threshold Choir? How did you find out about it?
Well, initially, I read an article in the ACDA magazine, the American Choral Directors magazine, about the Threshold Choir, and then that was interesting to me. Then my father was dying, and when I was sitting with him...
How long ago was this?
20 years.
Okay.
20 years ago. He was dying, and I didn't know what do you say when you're sitting next to someone they're not conscious or barely conscious. So I started singing some of the songs that I knew he knew, like Sentimental Journey, and some older songs because he loved to sing, and I just sang softly for him. And then Leah and I were at a Music Makes Community workshop, and the founder of Threshold Choir, Kate Munger, was there, and I talked with her about it for a long time. And after talking to Kate is when I came back and said, we need this in Auburn. And I think several years ago there was a group in Auburn that met, and they weren't functioning at that time, and so I started another branch
of Threshold Choir.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can find more about thresholdchoir.org. Leah, how did you get involved?
Well, in Janine's story...
Janine asked you.
She did, but we, like she said, experienced together this Music Makes Community conference, met Kate, who's the founder. I was inspired by her as well. So when Janine had this idea start to kind of percolate about, we could do this here, I was having similar feelings and thoughts, and so when she asked me how I felt about it, I was already on board. Didn't know what it would mean in terms of what does that look like, how do we gather, how do we learn the songs, how do we go to the bedside. There was a lot we didn't know, but we learned it and developed processes in a little community.
Yes, yeah. This is a little community, but so to speak, it's not big as far as all this property, but it's a little community, but it's a great community. I love this area. I just love it.
Yes.
And How many people are involved with this with Auburn's Threshold Choir?
There's 12 to 20 women that meet. Twice a month we meet in Meadow Vista, and then the other 2 weeks, some of the women that come up from a distance, Roseville and down the hill a little bit, they meet in a park in good weather, in the gazebo, and they sing there. So there's rehearsal happening every week.
Yes.
And different people out of the group come to, when whatever's closest for them.
Now, is this a cappella?
Yes.
So you need to be convinced and sure and knowledgeable about notes and stuff.
Yes. Well, when we meet at Meadow Vista, because I'm a pianist, I help the singers
Yes.
learn their parts because we have a piano there, and then they sing a cappella. We step it up.
Okay. Leah, how did you get involved with singing in general?
Oh gosh, I've got 3 older sisters, and
That'll
we
do it.
used to sing together from the time we were little.
Uh-huh.
So music was always an important part of my family and my larger community. And I continue to have a lot of opportunities to develop music with Janine, not only through performance avenues and through writing liturgy and things like that together, and now this Threshold. The Threshold Choir, though, is a little bit different because it's not a performance. It's not, you mentioned knowing your notes and making sure you're on. We're doing it together with these normally 2 other women going in groups of 3. So you're not standing out there in the front of the audience doing a solo.
Right.
You're with these other women blending and creating this beautiful space together. So the pressure is not like ta-da, it's more blending and creating this environment together. So I was very drawn to that.
Wow.
It's very much like singing to a baby. That tone of voice when you're holding holding a newborn, and that soft tone of voice. It's identical to that. Only we're sitting often just the 3 of us bedside in a hospital room or in a retirement home or someone's home. We bring our stools and we're sitting pretty close to the person that's in the bed, and we sing in that lullaby voice. So it's not a big, like Leah said, it's not a big, no, it's not a ta-da.
Right. Yeah.
You said it was a warm blanket one time, and I loved that analogy. Your voice, our voices together, creating like a warm blanket on someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating sometimes you might think, well, they're unconscious, they're not hearing, but they do hear because you can tell in their breathing. Sometimes, do you remember when we sang for Gertrude? She was 45 minutes away from her death, and she had a very loud, rattling, struggling to breathe. And when we started to sing, her breathing got very calm, and she opened her eyes for about maybe 10, it was about 10 seconds, looking above our heads. And then she closed her eyes, but the rest of the time it was peaceful for her. And so I know that
It got to her.
they
She
are
heard
here.
you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it meant something to her.
Oh, yes.
And to the family.
Yeah.
So that energy that is created there of us caring for someone through this peaceful, gentle music impacts them. It impacts us because we are honored enough to be there with them in this very rich moment. But then it also impacts the family, the caregivers, anyone who's in the room who is able to just have a moment of peace, and who are all working really hard to care for this person. So it impacts multiple people multiple levels.
Yeah. Wow.
We usually don't know the people that we're singing for. We don't know the family members, and you might think there's an awkward moment, but
They're grateful.
There's no
You're
talking.
happy.
There's no talking. We walk in singing, we sing, and we leave singing. So there's never conversation. There's no awkward moment. It's this kind of ephemeral moment that happens
Wow.
and then disappears. So
Wow.
it's always there's this. The blanket is happening the whole time.
That's right.
The what is happening?
The blanket, the
The
warm
blanket,
blanket.
the
We walk
warm
in
blanket.
with that warm blanket of sound. We lay out the blanket and then
Yeah.
we leave.
I thought you were being serious, specific about a blanket, but it makes you comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comfortable, and the fact of the singing is like a blanket.
That's right.
Yes.
That's oh my, wow. Wow. Okay. I think we should have the music now.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to hearing you,
Okay.
and we'll be right back.
Now is the only moment. Now is the only moment. Be in this moment. Breathe in this moment. Love in this moment. Be here now. Be here now in this moment. Now is the only moment. Now is the only moment. Be in this moment. Breathe in this moment. Love in this moment. Be here now. Be here now in this moment. Can I stand here for you? May I use my heart as a gate? We may not need words, we may not need songs, we may only need our two hearts meeting. Can I stand here for you? May I use my heart as a gate? We may not need words, we may not need songs, we may only need our two hearts beating. Easy, rest easy. Let every trouble drift away. Easy, rest easy. Love enfolds you and holds you safe. Easy,
Oh my. Well, thank you very much. And Leah isn't sitting here anymore, and I'm also thanking her. Leah, thank you. And we have Barbara Telemann. Thank you, Barbara, for joining us and for singing with the group and the group. Gosh, Barbara, how long have you been involved with this group?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think, since about 2017, would you say, Janine? I don't know. Time goes away.
Yeah,
It does?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I think I was thinking about that, but I think about since 2017.
Okay. When did you hear about it? How did you hear about it?
Well, Janine used to be my piano teacher, and I think she mentioned something
Oh, my.
about that
Okay.
at a lesson, and my ears perked up because I was a choir singer, and I also was getting involved with hospice, and I thought I would really, it would be something I would really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you are helping other people who are moving into the direction of dying
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
And so you were doing that, and you are singing.
Yes. I'm a hospice volunteer.
Okay.
I'm just a volunteer. But the volunteers are a very important part of hospice.
Yes, I agree. Yes, it's wonderful. And this is all volunteer, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. How can if a person wants to do this, what does one do?
They can contact any singer or contact me through an email or a phone call. I often take messages at the church. It's not a church-affiliated organization, but that's a good place to call to get me
Okay.
at the church.
And so what's the phone number?
It's 530-878-1870.
Okay. Music at faithmv.net.
Yes.
MUSIC at faith, FAITH, mv.net. But it's not this is not necessarily a faithful, religious organization.
Not at all.
Yes.
But if people are affiliated with the church and the family lets us know, we can bring in some special hymns or songs of their faith that are special to them. We can learn those and bring them to bedside with us if it's requested, certainly.
Okay.
We've done that many times.
And people who are the families who have dear ones who are dying, and they can get you at music@faithmv.net.
Yes.
And is there a low thresholdchoir.org?
Well, that is the international organization website. But if you are searching for Meadow Vista or Auburn, you can do a search on cities, and then my contact information comes up also.
So thresholdchoir.org and then in cities?
Yes.
Okay. So, thresholdchoir.org and then look for cities.
Yes.
Okay.
We had a friend recently, just a month ago, on vacation in Oregon, and she had a stroke, and she was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and I contacted the Threshold Choir in Portland, and they sang to her the last 5 days of her life.
Wow.
Every day they went out and sang for her. And so she they weren't able to bring her home before she died, but it was fabulous.
Perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was, I can't say enough about those women that they went every day and sang for her.
Okay.
So, and they said the same thing. Her breathing got really calm, and it was calming for the family.
All right. Wonderful. Barbara, what is the hardest part of participating in or what is one of the hardest parts, if there's more than one, in singing this?
With this group,
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's hard for me not to cry, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. And Janine has helped us with that. And
There's a
so
way
we
to-
know there's ways, what we do is we look up and away, and that helps you center, and then you don't feel like you're going to do that.
Right.
Because I think I could be a professional mourner sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that myself, for me doing that.
I remind the singers that it's not about us. It's about them, and we're bringing a gift to them. And so it's important to be able to take us out of the equation in order to present that gift.
Okay.
Oftentimes, singers aren't ready to go. They rehearse for quite a while before I will choose them to go out in a trio, because it takes a while to get ready, not just the music, but internal readiness
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to sing
Be
to
with
someone
with
at
someone
that time.
who is definitely dying.
Dying. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yes.
And so we have a chair, zero gravity chair, and we take turns being in the chair. Oftentimes a singer will share something that's going on in their lives that's difficult, and or someone that they know in another area that's dying, and they will be in the chair, and we'll sing to them on behalf of
Yeah.
someone else for the practice of carrying someone's troubles, but not letting those troubles interfere with the gift, bringing the gift. That's one of the difficult.
This situation makes for a better person. What you're doing makes for better people. You're a better person as a result of this, I think. You're stronger. I imagine you're kinder. You're more understanding. Oh, wow. And my other question is, what's one of the best parts of participating? And I can imagine that is one of the best parts of participating. But are there other parts?
There's something that happens when we're singing together. It's like you're in a different space, but you're in the space together. It's a community sort of feel, I think. And it's a very special spiritual place, I think.
Yeah. Some of the women come, and the best thing for them is coming together as women and singing together. And for me, it's being in the moment with someone and doing the job that we're meant to do. For me, that's the best part. But everybody has a different best part. Some singers, though, have said that's the best part, the coming together in that circle with other women. We don't get a chance to do that. We're a busy culture.
Yes. So this is a women's group.
Yes.
Men aren't involved in this particular group.
No.
Or I can imagine that men could do this elsewhere or by themselves.
In the organization, there are a few men's ensembles that do it. They're not very many.
Okay.
It's not prohibitive, certainly,
Right.
but
Good.
mostly it's mostly women.
Of a certain age?
All ages. Yeah, it's all.
It
It's
is
all
all
ages. Leah's daughter sang with us for a while when she was in high school. She
Oh,
would
nice.
come. Yeah, all ages, every
Oh,
generation.
that would be important to a high schooler.
Well,
teenager. Yes, yes.
tremendous growth
Yes.
opportunity. So,
Yeah. So you are willing to get to have women of any
of
age
course.
who can
Yeah.
sing,
Yep.
who are available to do this.
Yes. And it's not, most people that sing, they're not professional singers. They're people that can carry a tune and harmonize, but that professional projected voice isn't
Mhm.
what we need in threshold singers.
Instead.
It's that lullaby quality that we're looking for. So we do have a few people that are professional singers in the group, or people that sing with col voce, but that's not the voice they use when they're in threshold choir. It's the lullaby voice.
Yeah.
So,
Calm and quiet. And,
yep.
Yeah. So you don't need professional singers.
No.
Hello.
No.
What you need is somebody who knows how to sing and who is willing to sing, be close to a person who is dying. And
Yes.
I can imagine that takes courage, understanding, willingness, and teach. I've talked to a lot of performers who really are performing to a group of people, and some of them I approach who go, oh no, I couldn't, because I don't. I'm not doing this with. I'd be just doing this with you and me. Oh no. But some are willing to talk about their work, and it's just, this is very powerful, and it's what you did today is very powerful.
Thank you.
And Colla Voce, COLO?
COLLAVOCE, but that's a different hat.
Yeah, I know. It's a
They're
different
not-
hat.
They're not related.
But you mentioned it.
Okay.
And that's local.
Yeah,
and
that's a
local
local arts organization,
Yeah.
performing organization.
Yeah, and they sing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, oh boy, did they sing.
Yes.
Just, and probably louder than you,
Yes.
than the threshold choir.
Yes.
Yeah.
They cover all of the bases.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us. For
Thank you
joining
for
me.
having us.
Oh, this has been wonderful. Janine Dexter, music at, her email is music@faithmv.net if you want to contact her about singing with this organization. Or log on to thresholdchoir.org. Thresholdchoir.org, and that's international, but there's a way you can check places, and Auburn's on there, and certainly the Placer County's on there. Threshold, THERESHOLD, yeah, one threshold. Okay, ladies, and Barbara, thank you, and Leah, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching.
Now is the only moment. Now is the only moment. Be in this moment.